All right, everybody, Stocks by the Numbers, welcome back. And I wanted to do another update here on United States Steel, ticker symbol X, listed here on the New York Stock Exchange. If you've been following the channel since the get-go, you know that this is basically one of our biggest winners here on the channel. Originally looked at and brought to you guys here on YouTube at sub $20 a share. We can see the stock still up here at 45.5, hitting highs of a touch over $50 recently. Was down about a third of a point, about 0.75% here on the day. But I wanted to talk about what Trump said when he said he was going to step in and block this deal here. Donald Trump's pledge to block Nippon Steel's planned purchase of U.S. Steel if he retakes the White House, compounds political troubles to the $15 billion deal. His failure could reverberate across Japan Inc. For Japan, the biggest foreign investor in the U.S., a collapse of the deal could give companies pause about acquisitions in other strategic sectors and force them to be more risk-adverse when sizing up deals. You know, I said this as soon as the deal came in. I said that the problem with this main acquisition here is the fact that this is a Japanese company. That's it. End of story. And that's why I feel like with a lot of the turmoil that's happening overseas, I feel like a lot of people are not happy, especially over the last couple of years, in general, but more specifically with how we've been dealing with ourselves here in the States. And just looking at the overall broad picture of what could potentially be coming down the road in the overall world view, I'm talking, inside of the next 5, 10, 20 years, for an international company to acquire a company like United States Steel is, in my opinion, not a very good play for anyone who approves that deal. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about just the overall production or use or of steel, or of course, more importantly, how the workers feel about it. Just overall, in my opinion, this is really not a good look, and that is why I think Cleveland-Cliffs kind of has a little sour taste in their mouth, because they thought probably that it would get pushed through no problem. Their deal, I'm talking about their bid, not Nippon's, but obviously, again, Nippon came in, I believe, $1 more. I think Cleveland-Cliffs up their bid to $54 a share. Now they're supposedly saying it's off the table. I'll get to that in a second. But more importantly, again, Nippon came in 55, and now everyone's saying, oh, no, no, you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't do it. So, I was just running through this article here. Again, this is from Reuters. Trump adds to Nippon U.S. Steel deal woes in blow for Japan Inc. But it's just funny because just the way that they're reacting to this situation, in my opinion, just makes me laugh, because I just feel like they're not understanding our big picture, our big view of what can happen if we let this deal go through. Failure could be, quote, a warning sign to some segments of Japanese investors. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like I said, it's just something so specific, right? I mean, how come Japan doesn't want to buy Fiverr or something, right? I'm sure if they buy Fiverr, the deal will get through. But I mean, you're talking about acquiring U.S. Steel here. I mean, sometimes money isn't everything. Opposition to the deal appears at odds with U.S. efforts in recent years to encourage Japanese companies to boost their presence there. Is reminiscent of the 1980s when Japanese acquisitions of trophy assets like Rockefeller Center ignited sharp criticism from the American people. Yeah, fair enough, but a little bit different, right? A little bit different. I mean, Rockefeller Center or frickin' U.S. Steel, right? I mean, apples and bowling balls, as they say. Um... Yeah, Tokyo Electron and Applied Materials, right? Two of the world's largest manufacturers of semiconductor making machinery. Okay, so look at that statement though, right? Two of the world's largest manufacturers of semiconductor making machinery. And I can appreciate the fact that they're in the same sector, so you just want to consolidate the whole massive thing. But, at the same time, you, you could make the argument that you couldn't, and also you shouldn't, really, at the end of the day. But of course, anything can happen in future years. We don't know. Trump, whose protectionist America First policies were a hallmark of his tenure, I'm right here, said on Wednesday he would, quote, instantaneously block the deal if he wins the November 5 vote. The Republican is set likely to rematch Biden. Yeah, sure. But obviously, he would instantaneously block it, right? I mean, we're talking about U.S. Steel, and we're talking about a potential acquisition from. That's what I mean. It didn't matter what country they came from. That's what I mean. I feel like Japan is almost like taking this personally, like almost like, oh, you don't want Japanese investors. Like, no, that's not what this has to do with at all. But again, at the end of the day, I can appreciate the fact that Trump would, quote, instantaneously block the deal. And I'm sure if they asked, oh, what about Cleveland Cliffs? If they stepped in and Cleveland Cliffs wanted to step in and make the deal, guarantee you he would not, quote unquote, instantaneously block that deal, right? Think about it. Nippon Steel responded that the purchase would provide great benefit to U.S. steel industry, employees. Yeah, of course. Failure to strike a deal has the potential to damage investment ties and set back friendshoring initiatives, right? See, that's what I mean. Like there's no reason to even take it this far. Like, and that's what makes me laugh, right? Because putting all this nonsense aside, we know that the people in these top positions aren't complete idiots, right? So for them to even come out with these statements is just laughable. Like everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone understands what's going on here and why this deal, in my opinion, chances are is not going to go through with Nippon out of Japan. But, anything could happen again. Long-term consequences would be higher costs for businesses and consumers. Who expects the deal to pass eventually? Yeah, okay. Okay, we're reading. Look, Japanese firms are under increasing pressure to expand abroad to find new revenue sources as the population in their aging home market shrinks. Hey, listen, not to be crass or crude, but it sounds like a you problem, right? We thought we were aligned. Concerns over Nippon Steel's attempt to buy a company that helped build the Empire State Building and arm Allied forces in World War II have arisen since its December announcement. Yeah, you think? It's funny when you lay it out like that and put it that way. It's like, what the hell are these people even trying to do with this company, right? What are you even like doing here, making a bid? Biden's White House says the deal deserves, quote, serious scrutiny, given its potential impact on national security and supply chain reliability. This guy's letting in millions of people every day. All of a sudden, he's worried about national security. I mean, it's laughable when you read some of this stuff. It said it supported a review of the transaction by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, a process that could take months. Who cares? Take your time. Japan's industry minister declined to comment on Trump's remark about the deal on Friday, but said the U.S.-Japan alliance was stronger than ever, right? I mean, it's just funny because they know that probably there's a very high chance that we're going to get Trump back in the White House in November. So it makes me laugh, right? This guy, he declines to comment on Trump saying he would instantaneously block it because, first of all, he knows that he probably doesn't have much to say, and also on the flip side, he knows that, if Trump said it, Trump's probably going to do it, right? So that's it. If Trump wins, the deal is definitely more than likely going to instantaneously be fizzled out, and, but also, again, adds U.S.-Japan alliance was stronger than ever, right? So that's what I mean. He's trying to, it's like, oh, I won't even address that negative remark that was made, against the business, but at the same time, we're in good standing with the U.S. and, I mean, a little bit of subtext, obviously. I'm kind of adding this in, but it seems like he's saying, yeah, relations are good, and, we're looking forward to, further dealing with Trump in 2024 and afterwards. But that's just me. Democratic strategist said it would be hard for Biden administration to approve the deal. Yeah, because they know at the end of the day that they really shouldn't, in my opinion. I think there's certain core industries that you just don't outsource. It's not called ABC Steel. It ain't called your mama's steel. It's called U.S. Steel. Wow, great point. But, good point. Steelworkers, criticizing both companies for not consulting with them on the acquisition, have urged regulators to scrutinize whether the deal benefits workers. What? We're talking about tens of billions of dollars here. You think anyone's thinking about the workers right now? Let's be serious. Biden and Trump have been competing to win the support of unions, which I believe Trump has, which could prove crucial in the battleground states expected to decide the election. What are you talking about? I thought it was non-battleground states that decided the election 4 years ago. Okay, we're moving here. So the blowback from the Nippon U.S. Steel deal shows Japanese firms will have to be more thorough when examining transactions, especially in unionized industries. Again, has nothing to do with the fact, in my opinion, that we have union workers involved. It is the fact that this is an international company trying to acquire U.S. Steel. You spend a lot more time thinking through other stakeholders, how they're going to respond, what engagement you should have with them before you announce the deal, bringing along PR experts to help you refine and polish the message. Yeah, this guy's just going off a cliff now. He just flew off over the handlebars. Former senior Japanese government official, who now works for a Japanese conglomerate, said the deal was a stark reminder that firms must be more mindful about studying the political implications of deals in the United States. Uh, Again, no one's really understanding. But again, in my opinion, I think they do understand. And again, this is all just fluff for media. But I think everyone understands what the real situation is here. It should be of big interest for all internationalizing Japanese companies, especially when thinking about future investments in U.S. companies, he said, on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to speak to media. Okay, so this guy's not even supposed to be saying anything, but he's talking all this shit, right? Okay. We thought we're completely aligned countries. Yeah, the countries might be aligned, but we're not selling you U.S. Steel. I mean, right? That's what it all comes down to. And we come back here. The company recently posted earnings. Of course, they beat earnings, which, in my opinion, I probably could have guaranteed. I mean, obviously, everyone probably crunched the numbers and felt that the company was going to continue to post decent numbers and maintain their business and stay healthy and stay stable and steady. And that's why an acquisition bid, well, multiple bids, came in. And there was a bidding war taking place on U.S. Steel in general. But again, as I originally said in previous videos, if Trump comes in and says, no, Japan, you cannot buy U.S. Steel, I mentioned that either A, again, Cleveland Cliff supposedly $54, Nippon offered 55, and they said, oh no, deal's off table, deal's off table. Let me tell you something about Trump. Either A, he's going to make it his business to try to actually push that deal through, somehow, some way, at the $54 mark, or potentially even offer a little bit of a sweetener because Japan offered 55, right? Or I said that, in my opinion, just leave it alone and U.S. Steel is easily going to get to 55, if not higher, on its own. And again, just looking at the numbers here, 10 billion market cap here. We're trading only 13 times earnings. Look at that beta. I love it. 0.5. It is half as volatile as the overall market. That's what the beta means. We can see nice beats recently on the EPS side. Revenue for the last couple of quarters has pulled back. So much for Build Back Better, right? Net income goes negative as of last quarter, but still posting over $4 billion in that quarter for revenue alone. Current market cap, $10 billion. This is what I said when I even originally brought this stock to you guys at 1970. And even updated you along the way. I still said that even these bids coming in my opinion, are undervaluing the company and are really lowballing U.S. Steel here. But as we see here, revenue jumped up. We're over here, high teens, 20 plus billion for the year. And again, you're telling me market cap right now 10 billion. So, I'm not necessarily certain if someone's going to offer, $80, $90 a share and whatnot. I mean, if a bid does come in, chances are it should be, technically, based on what we've seen, it should be somewhere in the mid to high 50s, right? But again, I feel like, these situations, I feel like they do arise maybe every couple of years. But at the end of the day, all this shows us my original point. It just cements my original point that, again, we're talking about U.S. Steel. We need steel. Everyone needs steel. And, of course, not only has the company been rising on its own because it was undervalued, but now, again, we got involved in a bidding war, and we had, 5, 6, 7 bids come in. Remember, the original bid was, $35. Then they received multiple $40 bids. Then you got Cleveland Cliffs upping to 54 a share, and you got Nippon 55. So that's why the way I'm looking at it, they used to say, the old saying was, a stock is worth what anyone's willing to pay for it, what the next guy's willing to pay for it. So if they're willing to pay $55 a share, it is technically, probably on paper, more than likely worth at least that much, if not more. But I want to switch over to stock charts real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. And you can see that the RSI pulled back here to sub 40 after these earnings came out. I guess everyone's upset at the net income negativity. However, again, in my opinion, they're missing the overall picture here. If we do pull back and fill this gap, that'll be just slight sub 40. But in my opinion, I actually still think it's a buy here at 45.5 if they want to bring it down to the next support level here of 46. 45.08, excuse me. Let me take this thing off, it's throwing me off. 45.08, you can see the low 45.39, so it technically didn't test that support level, but they have been trending it downward since the earnings release, so we could have a pullback there and potentially bounce off of that 45.08, but again, in my opinion, I like it here. And based on the bids that came in, we basically, quote unquote, know for a fact that the stock could potentially, is easily worth, 25% at least more than where it's currently trading. So you're essentially buying a $50+ stock for less than $50 a share. And again, even if it does potentially break this 50-day moving average at right around 44 and potentially try to fill that gap there down at 40, if I liked it at 45, I'm going to love it down there at 40. So, and this whole time it was going up as they were receiving bids. I was giving update videos saying I still liked it, saying in my opinion it's still worth more, and I also consistently kept mentioning it basically daily in the Discord. Again, Discord link in the description of every video, free to join. You guys can come in, talk about stocks, talk about the weather. But basically, since this big pop, they kind of flattened it out here and almost made it, again, kind of fly underneath the radar and kind of try to have everyone kind of forget about the situation. But no one is really forgetting about the situation, not on this channel anyway, because I'm keeping an eye on this thing like a hawk. But again, we could have a pullback here potentially to this pivot point just below 40, but in my eyes, I really don't know if, I don't think it should come back down there, but again, if it does, if I liked it up here, I'm gonna love it down there. But here, RSI on the weekly above 70, finally pulled back there over the last couple of weeks after that recent pop. But again, I have a feeling that they're just kind of cooling it down for a little bit, bringing it down, potentially touching it to a next support level, and then they're going to bounce it and potentially take it higher because, again, whether people are upset at this net income negativity, at the end of the day, we did beat on the EPS and revenue side. And, we all know there's value there. That's what this bidding war showed. This bidding war showed that A, the stock was undervalued, or B, and B, excuse me, not or B, and B, we know there's value there. We know there's value. I'm sorry, the beeping's throwing me off. But, yeah, we know there's value there. And it has now been proven to us. The MACD climbing very nicely over the last 8 months straight here. And again, now we have a potential curl here, and we're getting near close to that cross. Last time that happened, we had that next pop higher, but of course, that was kind of when the next bid came in. So, only time will tell what is going to take place. But again, in my opinion, basically reading a lot of that stuff that the guys over in Japan were saying, it just made me laugh. In my eyes, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you cannot approve this deal, especially if it's internationally. And, it again basically cements that when we first looked at the stock, we were 110% correct, knowing that there was much, much more value to be made. Again, originally, stock brought to you on this channel, $19.70. But I'm going to end it there. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm helps me get more eyes on the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But of course, more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky and volatile and very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for stopping by. See you in the next one.